the first half of it during a week off the coast of California in Catalina with a group named InterVarsity, and it's a big part of my testimony, which I'll get into later. But first of all, just gonna introduce me, get to know me. So I'll use this. I think this is how it works. Boom. Oh, first of all, fear to faith. Moving on. That's my name. Where I grew up, Jordan. I grew up in Jordan, not west or south, or north or east. I grew up in the country Jordan, across from Israel. It's across the Jordan River, the actual Jordan River, which y'all might be flourishing more than the one in Jordan, because it's really dirty. But on your left there, that is Petra. You can kind of see it. I kind of just like that picture, and it gives you a sneak peek. You should go yourself. You'll find out how cool it looks. But that's like through a seek. You walk, a couple miles down this, narrow, rocky path that, is really treacherous, but it is very rewarding when you see this archaeological find that is called the treasury. It is magnificent. Pictures do not do it justice. And then that is me absolutely hitting a killer pose in my absolute killer fit as well. Backwards hat, I didn't even plan that. I'm just like I was. And then there's me posted up on a sand dune in Wadi Rum. Wadi Rum is where they film most Star Wars movies, any Mars movie. So you can see me in the back in any of those movies. I'm, going down a hill, running, eating sand. And then moving on, I just wanted to show this picture because it looks so cool. Look at that. Come on. Like, album cover right there. If I ever write music, that'll be it. Will it relate to the music I write? No, but it's cool. There's my family. So I'm not going to describe any of them to you. I'm just kidding. So the one in the back there, me. Bottom, or in the middle to the right, that's my mom. And then to the left of her is my brother, Zach. He's the oldest. Down in the middle is my sister. And then to the bottom left is my brother's wife, Kaylee. And then bottom right is my father. So they're awesome. I love my family. Known them for a pretty long time. And yeah, that's them. I hope you guys get to meet them someday. They're pretty cool. My parents are still in Jordan serving, and that's why I was there. My parents are missionaries. That's a big part of why I was in Jordan. I wasn't just there to hang out. Well, I was there to hang out. My parents were missionaries, really. I'm a missionary kid, not a missionary. So, but yeah, that's them. My brother and sister are in South Carolina, killing it, and I was the black sheep and moved across the state, farthest away as I could be from Jordan, but they still love me. And then we're going to just jump straight into the passage. Why this passage? I was talking about it earlier. It's a big part of my testimony, specifically this passage. I like to talk on this. When I talk, this is my first time talking. I'm talking like I've done this before. And by the way, this is my first time. Bear with me. But yeah, it's just a great passage. We went over it while we were in Catalina, like I said. It was this camp devoted to every day we would spend 8 hours on the book of Mark. And the first session we had, we spent on one verse. And we, came up with all these, things that's alluding to or calling back to. And it's super interesting. Like, guys, Mark is so cool. Like, it has so many cool little callbacks. And it's just so intricate. The whole Bible is, but like this is cool. This was what made me fall in love with the Bible. Like, this is why I enjoy reading, because if you put like a little bit of thought into it and you just like read it and you hear what other people are thinking, it's full of knowledge and just amazing things. So I'm gonna talk about this, but I say this because the reason this is a part of my testimony, because I'll get to it later, but I've struggled with a lot of shame and guilt in my life. And it's eaten away at me for years and years. And really, the only way I could break through that was through Jesus. And this passage really chipped away at my heart of stone, full of shame and guilt. And I know we've all felt it, and the person in this passage felt it. So that's where I'm going to go into our passage, and that's why, because it means a lot to me, and I really like it. So we'll keep going. All right, timeline. Just because we've been spending so much time in John, it's basically the same book, but a little bit different. So, timing might be a little different. So we start off with Jesus' baptism. Jesus tempted, ministry begins, calls the disciples, bunch of healing and parables. A crowd follows. Ooh. More healing and parables. Jesus calms the storm, and then we get to hear. This is our text. Jairus' daughter gets healed, and the bleeding woman gets healed. So just wanted to give a little bit of backstory moving up to this, because there's been so many healings and parables. Everything that's happened kind of shows the context of what they were thinking, what the crowd's thinking, what Jesus has done so far, what, these people know what he's capable of now. Like, he's done so much to this point. So I think that's really interesting. So moving on, if I press the button right. Okay, context. So we're going to go 2 stories in one pericope. By the way, pericope, my favorite word to use, whether I use it right or not. Pericope is a break in the passage, specifically in the Gospels, where there's, Jesus being baptized. That's a pericope, It's just little stories. It's not necessarily just parables. It's definitely just, little breaks. So this is a break in the passage. I'm not going to hit the entirety of it, probably 3/4, because it does have 2 stories, which I think is really cool. It's kind of unique to this one. There's a few other ones that, commentaries say that shares this characteristic, but I do think it is noteworthy. I think it's cool that Mark decided that, because in this story, it starts with this father who is, desperate. And then along the way is the story I'm talking about. And then they end the story. So there's like a story within the story. Kind of cool. And then Jairus is a synagogue official. I'll touch on this a little bit, but just wanted to, let you know he is high up. And he is, known for, helping people with offerings. He's a big name, and people respect him. And he does something in this passage that is very uncharacteristic of a synagogue leader. So just wanted to note that. And then Leviticus 15:25. You can see how prepped I was because I had it open. It's a joke. Leviticus 15:25-30. And if a woman has a discharge of blood for many days, not a time of her spiritual impurity, or if she has a discharge beyond the time, I'm not going to read this whole passage. Basically, this passage is on what the lady is struggling through in this passage. So she is unclean, and she's if she touches anyone, they're unclean. So she is a cast. She's a leper. She is a castaway. She is absolutely looked down upon in society. And that's why, because it's a Mosaic law. It's in Leviticus. It's a law that, they have to obey. And, the people that she's around know about it. So she's not going to get away with it. People are going to be like, oh, unclean, unclean. It's all that, where it's kind of just like, get away from her. She's going to make me dirty. So wanted to preface with that as well. I'm going to pull up my passage now, and we're slowly going to just inch through it. So we're going to start just kind of fast forwarding through the passage. I'm not going to start at verse 21, but a great crowd follows. So let's read. in verse 24. Does anybody have it open right now? Ed, can you read that for me? Just verse 24. Yes. A great crowd. So earlier on, like I said in the timeline, there's already a crowd, and now it's a great crowd. So he's using another word there. I think that's an adjective. I'm not going to act like I'm Brian and know what grammar is, but I think that's a big thing. So now there's a huge crowd following. So we're going to do a little bit of fun things tonight, and I'm going to choose a few people, and we're going to make a crowd, just to visualize what's going on in this passage. So I'm going to choose Eden. You. Come up if I point at you. You. Point at you, Michelle. You. And Leo and Zach. All right, here's what we're going to do. Oh, he's moving the podium. It's scary. He's going off script. This is on script. All right, what I'm going to have you guys do, make a crowd. Bump into each other, just, bustle around. You're on your way to work, but you're, kind of just, moving around. Wonderful. Oh, my goodness. Okay, and they're doing a great job. This is exactly what I wanted. Who thinks I'm going to make it through there with being untouched? Okay, I'll try. Hey, Michelle, you got to keep on doing it. Okay. Okay. I'm making it through. I'm trying to. I'm not. Okay. Okay, you guys can sit down now. Hopefully, you got the picture of what a crowd looks like. So, if you guys were watching, did I make it through untouched? That's good. You're listening. We're going to reel it back in. So, that's what I want to demonstrate. We'll bring that back out later. Just wanted to visualize for you guys. All right, moving on. A woman has suffered for 12 years. So, as it says in the passage, I'm going to have someone else read it. This is going to be Mark 5, 26 through 27. Who has it? You in the back. Okay. Okay. So, there is a lot going on there. So she has suffered for 12 years, and to describe it to you a little bit, she's been suffering from hemorrhage, which is just internal bleeding, and she's been suffering constantly for 12 years. Guys, that's painful. That's daily pain that she's been struggling with for 12 years. Like, I know we've all felt pain, like constant pain before, but this is something different. Like, she had gone through it. She not only had been feeling physical pain, but like I was saying with the law, no one's going to take her in. And like it said in the passage, like she said, not even any doctors or physicians could even heal her. She was uncurable at this point. She had no hope. She was just distraught and in desperation for help and healing. So this is where we're at right now. She is absolutely lost in this pain and shame that she feels from other people, casting her out. No one wants to be around her. So, moving on, and she touched on a little bit, the woman touches Jesus' garment and is healed. That's going to be 28 through 29. And then I'm just going to have that read one more time. Can someone read that for me? Grayson. 28 through 29. Nice and loud. choose somebody else. Boom, right there. If she even touches his garments, she will be made well. She has so much belief in Jesus at this point that if she just touches the garment, she will be healed. And this is a leap of faith right here. Like, what are we just talking about? This is where the crowd came into play. She's going to go and hide herself, make sure nobody's seeing her, but she's touching unclean, unclean, unclean. There's a crowd here. She chooses to go after Jesus through this crowd. She knows what's going to happen if she gets seen by somebody. Like, this is a big deal. This is a big deal. And I think it's really cool. Keep going. Sorry, I totally cut you off. Keep going. Need to remember to breathe. All right. She's healed. Woo! She's healed. Miraculous. It's done. Let's close in prayer. Just kidding. It doesn't stop there. That's not where the passage ends. It has so much more to it. I think there's a lot of passages where, boom, they're healed, and there's something to say about that. But Mark has something more to say about in this passage, and Jesus has something more to say. It doesn't just stop with that physical heal. Jesus hasn't said anything at this point. This is the Bible, which I believe she has been healed. That is amazing. But what I love so much about this passage is what comes up next. And it's just so cool. So moving on, Jesus calls out who touched him. So who wants to say that? It's 5:30 through 31. Jamie, thank you. Man, those disciples, they're not very smart. We're the disciples. We're stupid. We're just like the disciples. That's what I learned in Mark camp, in Catalina. I would always put myself as oh yeah, Jesus, I totally get what you're going through. No. And we'd always be like, oh, those disciples, why would they even think that? That's us. We're the disciples. We are the disciples in this passage. We look at it and we're still like, oh, this, why didn't you? Because they don't know what's going on. We don't know what's going on. But gladly, Jesus and Mark plays it out for us. So we get the answer. They don't. They're still, don't know what's going on. But Jesus calls out for who touched him. And I think that's just really, really interesting because she's already healed. Like I was saying, it's done. Nope, Jesus has something more to say. And I think when Jesus says stuff, it's pretty important. So he calls her out, and what happens next is also really cool. Moving on, the woman fearfully comes to confess. Does anybody want to read that? It's going to be 5:33. She comes in fear and trembling. When have you been in that scenario? Me. I have been in that scenario. When has it been a family member where you're like, oh, I know I did wrong, and I still did it, and they're calling me out on it. Please don't hurt me. Please don't hurt me. And here's the thing. We can feel that for the people around us, our friends and family. That's just true. People are going to hurt us, and they're not going to receive us greatly. But again, there's something different about the way this ends. She comes in shame and fear of what she's done. And let's just look at the weight of this. Like I was saying, she's unclean. And now the spotlight's on her. Everyone sees her. Jesus is pointing her out. Everyone's looking at Jesus like, oh, who's he calling out? He's calling out this woman who, probably some people know about, or they obviously know after seeing her. Like, oh my goodness, I can't believe she came into the crowd and like got everybody unclean. Oh my goodness. I bumped shoulders there. Oh my goodness. And Jesus outrightly calls her out. And is like, who is this? I want to know. And I also just want to note what's really cool. Actually, coming up, I'll bring that up. But just to give you that insight of this is a big deal. Like, this isn't just like, you stole a cookie and your mom's going to chew you out. Like, this is like public embarrassment. Like, this is going to be bad. Like, she's going to see the consequences of this. But what does Jesus say? I'll read this one. 5:34. Closing out the passage. The woman is filled with shame and hurt. She's been healed. She's physically healed. But she still feels that fear. There's probably some shame in there, like I'm saying. And she's thinking every scenario. Oh, what's he going to say? What's he going to do? How is he going to view me? I've done this wrong thing. Daughter. He calls her daughter. Not friend, not, woman, it's daughter. She is a family member to Jesus. This is one of the first times in Mark that Jesus says a family member. And it's this castaway who's been suffering for 12 years that nobody cares about. But Jesus does. And he points that out. Daughter, your faith, he sees faith in her. What she's done to do all of this, to choose Jesus, he sees a lot of value in that. Daughter, your faith has made you well. The passage says she already was well, physically, but maybe not spiritually. She went and grabbed the garment. Oh, my body is healed. This is amazing. Oh, but I still feel this fear and shame that I have to go talk to Jesus. But Jesus says you don't have to feel that anymore. Your faith has made you well. Go in peace. He gives you peace. He gave her peace. She doesn't have to feel anxiety, these feelings, which will still come. But by choosing Jesus in that moment, this is what he responds with. Daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace and be healed of your disease. First and foremost, your faith has made you well, and you are healed of your disease. Guys, this is amazing stuff. Like, I know you all have shame. A lot of you, it's there. It's eating at you. I still have it too. But Jesus has taken away a lot of that. He's healed. He's taken it away because of this. Daughter, son, your faith has made you well. Guys, we don't need to fear what Jesus has to say about us. Yeah, maybe our friends are going to think of us differently. Maybe our family is going to neglect us. I don't know your family. I don't know your friends. That's going to be a hard choice. This is sacrifice. But look at the benefits. We are healed. Let's not fear what Jesus has to say for us because we don't have to. Because of this passage right here. Jesus is waiting. He's waiting for you to come to him and be like, Jesus, I did this. Daughter, your faith has made you well. Son, your faith has made you well. Like, come on. Jesus is so good. Like, it's just, guys, this is so good. But like, yeah, that's the point. That's it. If I go any further, I'll start crying because it really means a lot to me. But truly, I want you guys to just, go back to this passage, dive deep into it. It's the first time I've went through commentaries. It's really cool. They have some really good thoughts. But this is all the Word of God. I share my experience to relate with you guys. But this isn't me. This is Jesus and what he did for you on the cross 2,000 years ago. And what he did for this woman, what he can do for all of you. So, I really appreciate you guys giving me the time to speak to y'all. I hope you can take away something. We don't have much time, but find time with your small groups just in this room. Pray a little bit. Just a quick takeaway. Guys, if you have something that's on your heart that you want to get off, that you've been meaning to tell God, remember this response. Remember what he's going to say. Let's close in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you for today. I thank you for this time that you give us. I thank you for all these great people that are before me, God, and God, just thank you for this passage and what we can learn from it. God, I pray that we can just take one little thing from it because it's a well of wisdom, God. And it's just a well of joy. God, we can seek joy from this passage and freedom. So much freedom from this passage, God. But God, I once again thank you for how glorious you are and how powerful you are in all of our lives and in my life. God, I pray us out that we can all pray intently together. I pray for our weeks. And thank you for this time. In Jesus' name, amen.
Like Josh mentioned, small group leaders, let's stay in this room. So guys on this side of the room and girl groups on this side, just kind of pick a quadrant and spend some time praying with your groups. Thank you.